folks, it's Type1Cat. Today I will be talking about backpacking and hiking with type 1 diabetes, and I'll provide links to some of the things that I'm showing you in the video description, but I also want to say that I am not affiliated with REI or Amazon. I'm not making money off of these videos, or nor do I intend to. I also recommend buying locally if you can find these products in stores near you. So the first thing that is my favorite little tool is this Frio sleeve, and I have seen them in pharmacies before, but basically there's just some gel in here, and you soak it in water, the water evaporates, and it'll keep your insulin or other injectable medications cool, even if it's like in direct sunlight or in a very, very hot car, or while you're camping. The next thing I want to mention is footwear. So having really good hiking shoes that are super grippy helps. Not just like regular running shoes. Water shoes are also helpful for river crossings, and even having slippers to wear at night or just around the campsite is pretty nice to be able to dry out your feet a couple times a day. Me and my friends usually don't use things like micro spikes or walking poles with a spike because it can damage the terrain and speed up erosion. So, if you're using hiking poles, when I've used hiking poles, I usually just use the soft rubber end or a flat end, and that can help distribute the weight from the hiking pack more evenly. And when you're going over some like uneven ground, the weight on these things, which can be like 50 pounds or more, can definitely throw you off. And I was so lucky to be given an REI gift card, which is why I got this awesome new hiking pack. My old one was ripping in a bunch of places. On my first big backpacking trip on Kauai was 8 years ago, so I've definitely collected a lot of different camping gear and tried a lot of different camping gear over the years. But one thing I will say for CGM sites or pump sites is that I usually am really careful with where I place them for events like this, because this hip portion here, I may not want it to be clipped around my pump site or CGM site. That could hurt or knock it off. And if I'm sweating a lot for like running, even if I use a sim patch or skin tack or mastosol, which actually I will never use again because I'm highly, highly allergic to that, I will still sweat it off. So what I found to work is placing it underneath compression shorts, so I won't have to worry about my devices sweating off. So those are things to keep in mind for pump site and CGM site placement if you're getting ready for hiking, camping, or running. And I really like the features of this particular backpack. It's a Gregory Deva 70 liter, and this pocket in front is waterproof, fully sealed, and then this one here is mesh, so you can keep things that you might want to see, but like glucose tabs, CGM, PDM, or phone right here in front of you. And then the side has a forward-facing water bottle holder, and then this side in the photos, it was super hilarious. Had a big bottle of wine. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would take a big bottle of wine on a backpacking trip because that's pretty heavy, but it is an option. There's a lot of little straps on the side here for things like, you know, sunglasses or shoes or a water bag, and I really like the Sawyer water filter if I don't have access to a fresh water source or a clean water source. Some other items, I'm super allergic to bug bites, so sometimes I have to take Zyrtec or Claritin a week prior to camping as well as a week after. I've also got bug bands, good bug spray, and this little bug bite burner, and that helps the itchiness go away. So that's been really helpful. And there's these two side pockets here, side pocket here with a zipper, and then a front pocket with a clip. These two side pockets on the top, and another one with the rain fly on the inside. And I always have a blood sugar meter with me, even if my CGM's been working just fine and I haven't checked my blood sugar in weeks, because anything can happen, and definitely want to be prepared for any scenario. And speaking of being prepared, usually me and my friends have some satellite communication option, like a satellite phone. A lot of these big hikes, like I said, I've done major backpacking trips on the Big Island and Kauai, but there is not usually cell service, so in case of emergency, having a satellite communication option could be really important. And in my first aid kit, which I will unbury here in a sec, I've got Benadryl. In that Kauai backpacking trip, the first one, one of my friends got bit with something, who knows what it was, but was super allergic to it. Throat started closing up, and thankfully we had a lot of Benadryl and gave him like 4 or 5, and he was able to make it out. But that was pretty scary. So I've got Benadryl in here, I've got inhalable glucagon, Baqsimi, as well as a bunch of overlay patches, scissors, you know, in case my devices start falling off, a bunch of extra glucose tabs. And this is the little day pack that's included, or you can use it to put your water bladder inside. For food, I don't usually like bringing canned food with me because cans are a little bit harder to pack out. For vegetables, I really like this creamy hearts of palm mash. I've also got some flackers, just like a can or a package of shredded chicken. I've also got that in here. And Next Mile meals have a ton of awesome keto freeze-dried meals that you just add hot water to. This one is coconut chicken curry, and it's got 13 grams of carb, 5 grams of fiber, 52 grams of protein, and 29 grams of fat. You do definitely want to look at the ingredients and see if it works with your diet and you like what's in there. Some of the meals have seed oils, and I quite frankly don't think that they taste good, and they also cause inflammation, so I try to avoid those as much as possible. But this one's a good one, a good option, and it doesn't have any like strange oils in it. I've also got Wild Zora meals. This one is beef stew, a little bit higher in carbohydrate, 36 grams of carb, 10 grams of fiber, but they are also very high in fiber, 29 grams of protein and 6 grams of fat. So this one is another good option. And having electrolytes, I probably wouldn't bring a pack quite this big with me, but there's a lot of little sticks to add to water, you know, because when we're sweating and losing a lot of salt, we want to replenish our electrolytes, and especially have a lot of salt. So how I pack absolutely depends on the terrain, the season, how many days and nights I'll be out, and sorry, it's a little windy, if I have a clean water source. Probably the best way to prepare for a backpacking trip, in my opinion, is doing a lot of hikes with different elevation changes, and just practicing, seeing how my blood sugars change with the different types of elevation gain, as well as the different phases in my cycle, because I'm more insulin resistant at a certain period in my cycle and more insulin sensitive. So depending on when I'm going on the hike, I can prepare and adjust my basal rates, as well as how I'm eating for that. Of course, they always say don't do anything new before a big race, and that is also something that I recommend. Not changing your routine as much as possible, but continuing with the way that you've practiced and learned your blood sugars. So also with my omnipod, because I use an omnipod insulin pump, I always take syringes with me now when I'm going hiking or camping. If I'm not going to be near my insulin vial, because I did sweat off my pod during one of my marathons, and I didn't have a syringe with me. If I did, I would have been able to give myself micro doses to keep my blood sugars in range, but I was actually kind of in big trouble by the end of that race, and looking back on it, I shouldn't have finished or I shouldn't have continued, at least without having gotten a pump change or going to like a medical hut and gotten a syringe so I could give myself insulin. But that was a lesson learned, so I always keep syringes so I can extract insulin from the pod and use that as an insulin vial so I can give myself shots until I can get a pump change. But yeah, so in my next videos I'll be talking about surfing, probably. Anything else that you folks want me to talk about, leave a comment, or you can email me at typeonecat808@gmail.com, and I'll see you next time.